When my sister wins, I win at the Sisters Cafe.
Hey everybody, welcome to this segment of Sisters Cafe. I'm your host, Gladys B, where we gather with our favorite cafe beverage for real talk, heartfelt moments, community support, information, education, and prayer partners. Here at the cafe, we sip on truth, pour out love, and stir in a whole lot of sisterhood. Whether you're driving to work, unwinding at home, or still in a moment for yourself, this is your time, your table, and your tribe. I'm your host, and this is your safe space to breathe, grow, heal, be inspired, empowered, and above all, your best self. Be sure to follow me on all social media and podcast platforms. You can reach me here on Power Influence Radio every Wednesday for Woman Crush Wednesday. Don't forget to send in those Woman Crush Wednesday nominations. Download the Daily Faith Network app on your Roku TV or Fire Stick, and you can find Sisters Cafe streaming every Friday night at 9 p.m. Or better yet, just subscribe to the website at www.sisterscafeinc.com, and that way you don't miss nothing. So we are excited today. Joining me at the table is Miss Virginia Webster. She's a mother, grandmother, leader, a breast cancer survivor, and now the author of the new book, Fix Your Posture, Adjust Your Crown. This episode is about courage, healing, and the strength it takes to stand tall in the face of life's challenges. So grab your cups and cafe. Help me welcome Miss Virginia Webster. Welcome. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Today is a great day.
It is. Every day above ground is a great day, right?
Exactly right. And I'm blessed to be here. I thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity. I count it all joy. I'm excited.
Nice. I'm excited because your book title caught my attention. But before we jump on into all that, I know what your bio says, but I want you to let us know a little bit about yourself in your words. You know, we just at the cafe here. Let us know about you.
All right. Well, if we're just chit-chatting with our girlfriends, then I would tell you that I'm Virginia. Most people call me Lady V, but Virginia is fine. Either one is fine. Call me whatever it is I mean to you, call me that. Okay. So I got mom, I got auntie, I have all the titles. And so Jamaican born and bred, proud of it.
Okay.
Raised in Canada. And married and moved to the United States. So I am somewhat international.
Yeah.
And somewhat. I love the Lord and I love the women of God. And I just love, like I was telling you earlier, to be in the company of women because there's always something new to learn from their experiences and the path they've walked, their journey, that can teach me a lot to help me find some joy for my journey. So that's who I am, just your girlfriend from around the way.
Born in Jamaica and raised in Canada?
Born. Yes, Jamaican born, baby. I always say I'm a yachty.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like your home girl.
Okay.
You say home girl and I say yachty.
Yachty. You know what? I like yachty better.
That's right.
What moved you from Jamaica to Canada?
Well, I left Jamaica when I was 12. So my mom migrated to Canada for better opportunities for herself and for us. And after she was there and got settled, then she sent for us. So that's how we got there. And I did all my growing up and my education and so forth there.
That's amazing. So this might be a really, really silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is it the same as being in America?
In Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Canada is very much like the United States, especially I'm from Toronto. The major city is Toronto. So it's very much like Houston, very metropolitan. Canada is the same. Everything that we have here, they have there. It's just maybe a little slower, a little less violent, less crime, and a lot cleaner.
It's a good place to be there.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. I've always wanted to travel there, but I've also low-key considered moving there, depending on what's going to happen with this current administration.
Exactly.
But it looks beautiful. I watch, I think it's Love It or List It, but everything is
yes,
from.
yes.
I was like, wow, it is
What, right?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. It's very green. It's very clean. I love it there. I go back every year. Given opportunity, I probably go twice.
So what brought you to United States then?
I married the American.
Got it. Oh, he didn't want to stay in Canada?
He stayed there with me for about 4 years, but then he wanted to be closer to his parents.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. May I ask, are y'all still together now?
Unfortunately, 33 years later, no, we're not. But we did stay together for 30 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is a long time. I was just sharing the experience with a friend, and I said it's a long time to have spent and then start over. But everything is in God's timing.
It always is, isn't it?
There's a season.
Right. I think, I know it's totally off the subject, but I think that's a fear of most people that have not been married can't possibly understand being with somebody the majority of your life and then not being with them at all. What is the struggle of the life change? Because that's half your life, and now it's not anymore.
It really is. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a conversation I've always longed to have. And I ask the questions all the time to my friends that are divorced, like, what does it feel like to you? Because it's almost like a part of you is missing in a way. Because it's like something, when I think about it in a biblical way, it's like something that was joined together and then violently torn apart.
Ooh.
And it doesn't matter whether or not it was amicable or whatever, it's still violently torn apart because it was joined together. And so it's almost like sometimes it's a part of you missing because that was a system and a process that you were used to that you no longer have.
Right.
So it's very different. It is very, it's complicated. It's very emotional. It's very, it is life-changing, like you said. Those were the words. I mean, your life is literally changed, and you have to have the right mindset and the right perspective in order to make it out of that thing with some grace and some joy.
And a right mind.
Exactly. Grace, joy, and keep your right mind. You definitely, it has to be a mindset change, because a lot of people go through that and they never recover.
Right.
Exactly.
There is the way you just explained it. I really hope you get the opportunity to share that with women that think something's wrong with them because they can't seem to. Some people can do it and they keep it moving. Life just keeps moving. I'm living my best life, but some people can't seem to get past it, and they start to think they internalize it like something's wrong with them. But your description, something being violently torn apart from you, explains why we can't get past it sometimes.
Exactly. Because literally, the Bible says, two are joined together to become one. So you are literally joined together, and your life is embedded, and it becomes like second nature to you. And so your future and how you see your future, how you see yourself in the future includes that person. And so then one day or 1 week or 1 month, when you wake up and that's no longer the reality, it is somewhat jarring. It is traumatic. It is trauma. It is trauma.
I can only I was previously married, and that literally only lasted 3 years, and I thought my life was over then. I can't imagine giving my life. I look at people such as Grandma. She's gone on now, but she stayed around 20 more years after Papa passed. But her life, she was kind of in a daze, if you would, because
Right.
she didn't know what to do after. She didn't know how to pump gas. She didn't know how to balance a checkbook. She was only good at certain meals because he did, when I tell you, he did everything for her. So she was kind of lost without, I was grown. So I was like, okay, grandma, this is how you pump gas. This is what, so we were able to help her. But I've always wondered, I'm like, that's got to be hard.
It's very, very difficult.
New life.
Very difficult. And I pray that on no one.
No one. I guess unless it's necessary. Like you said, some things are amicable, some things are not. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have chose to be divorced. It was never in my plan. But you weren't gonna keep putting your hands on me. It just wasn't.
Exactly.
So yes, my desire was to be married. My desire was to be with the father of my children. But no, sir, no, ma'am. And I did it as long as I could, because I kept saying, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Well, maybe if I stop, and that's what let me change me. Maybe if I stop doing this, maybe if I stop. And I'm like, at the end of the day, that's not what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to have your hands on me, period.
Exactly.
And I was making excuses for it. So in that case, even though that caused the divorce, the domestic violence in addition to the infidelity. I used to say, pick one. Like, come on now. We can't be fighting and you cheating. I'm going to need you to pick one because this ain't going to work for me. But that was still hard for me to do. Even though that was such a traumatic experience, it was still hard for me to do.
It doesn't really matter the reason.
It doesn't. It
doesn't matter. The process and the trauma of it is the same. It literally is not that it can be compared, but it's like losing someone to death, except they're still here. They're still here. You can physically see them or hear about them or whatever the case is. They're still alive, but it's really the death of that relationship is so traumatic. It's the dreams, the hopes, and the whole entire life that you had built around or with that person is gone. And it does take some mourning.
Wow. That's amazing. So how long I guess we can't put a time on anybody's grief or the ability to overcome, but what would you tell somebody who's struggling with overcoming a divorce?
I'm somewhat of a matter-of-fact-ish kind of person. So once the tears had fallen, once the heartbreak was processed, there comes a time it came a time for me when I had to ask myself the question, are you going to lay here and die? Or are you going to get up and go? What are you doing? Because you can't do both. No. And it was a matter of, the thought came to me was, he didn't make you, so he can't break you. Right. So I have to dig myself out of that hole and that victim mentality to understand my creator still lives. And there is a set number of days that he has given me that was different from my husband's days. He had his own set number of days, his own purpose and his own reason for being here. Likewise, so did I. And so now I had to look to the Father, and I'm telling you, that's all I really did in the process, was really kind of beg and focused on the Father as to what is it for me? Where's my life going? But I understood in my mind that he didn't make me. This man didn't make me. No matter what he has done or didn't do, he cannot break me. I am unbreakable. I have an unbreakable will that was given to me by my Father. And so now let me go look for my purpose. Let me go figure out what God has in store for me. That's what helps me.
Wow. Now let me ask you this too. Is it, you've been through several things. You've had trials.
I didn't tell you that I married that same husband twice. I married him for 30 years. I married him for 30 years. Then I divorced him for 2, and then married him again for 1.
Isn't it supposed to work out better the second time?
Well, yes. So you think. So you would think so, but again, the reasons why I wanted to be married and and his is probably 2 very different things.
Okay.
I wanted to honor God. I really just wanted one husband and just live that out for the rest of my life. So no matter what he did, I was willing to, short of violence,
Right,
I was willing to figure out a way to turn it over to Jesus and he would work it out.
Right.
And understanding that people are people and we all come here with our issues and different idiosyncrasies. And so he has his, I have mine, and putting those things together to get along in a peaceable situation is not always easy, but it's worth the try. You have a lifetime to try. And so that was my concept of it. So when he came back and said he was sorry and, it was his fault and we could make it work, I was excited. I was glad to be married again because I wanted to be married. Never wanted to be in those streets.
Right. Because they ain't nice.
There ain't nothing out in them streets.
That's amazing, though. That's amazing because I think as women, that is our heart's desire.
Yes.
I'm not saying it ain't some that's okay with doing what they do, but the majority of us desire to have one husband, one father for all of our children, because that's the idea. That's the ideal. That's what we're raised, though. That's what we're taught. That's biblical. You know what I mean? So we think about that. So it's like, I don't know. I have to say your reasoning was my same reasoning for staying as long as I did in domestic violence.
Right.
All of my family has a stepfather. And I said, I refuse. I'm going to keep my kid's father.
Right.
But I didn't realize at what cost,
Exactly.
And not only that, it changed the inside of me because me allowing certain, and I don't want to say allowing as in, okay, I know you cheated, but let's work it out. Oh, I know you said this to me crazy, but let's work it out. That was changing the inside of me by allowing that and trying to make it work anyway. I was putting that above my happiness, above my peace, above my joy. I wanted this to happen. And I had to learn better that I am a daughter of the King.
Come on.
So I should be living that life. I don't take that. I am full of peace and love and joy and God's spirit. And none of that was going on. None of that was going on. So how can I be my best vessel for Christ if that's not my environment? True. And the fact that I'm allowing it just so that nobody talk about me or just because I don't want to follow in somebody's footsteps. No. And that wasn't good for my children as well. Obviously, my oldest has come in a few times while we was in mode and we would stop and be like, oh, we just playing, or something like that. But, that would only last. He was 2, I think, at the time, the first time he ever walked in on us fighting. But after that, it was one particular time me and my ex-husband had been arguing. And I went upstairs to find the kid. He was 3 then, I think 2 or 3. And I couldn't find him. And I looked all around. He was in the closet with the door closed, rocking back and forth in fear.
Oh, my goodness.
And I remember saying, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. And let me tell you this, though. I still didn't leave. I still didn't leave. I had another baby and then another baby. And it was the last baby. I don't know if I had just had enough. Now, mind you, these kids came like boom, boom, boom. So it's not like this is in a few years. But the baby, I was about 5 months pregnant with my baby, the baby. And we were fighting once again, but this time he sat on me, on my tummy.
Oh, no.
And he was getting ready to hit me. And I remember Hmm. I remember looking, I don't know what happened this day, but I remember looking in his face, and I remember staring at him and said, go ahead and do it, because it is your last time. And when I tell you, I meant that with my whole soul. But
Wow.
that's where I think people talk about bullies. That's what they are, bullies. Because when I was like, that's your last, he got up. He didn't hit me. He was still sitting on my stomach, but he got up. And I remember getting up right behind him, and he pushes me. And boom, I hit the ground. So I tried to brace my, fall with my arms so I wouldn't fall totally on my kid. And I remember hearing, stay down. Stay down. Gladys, stay down, dummy. Like, what are you doing? Because the me wanted to get back up. Because if you want it, you can get it.
Exactly.
But it's not about me. I have a baby that I have to protect. So I laid there until he walked out of the door, and I packed every single thing I own, and I left. And that was that. That was that. I had the baby about 5-6 months later. He came early, but I had moved him back with my mom. So I had the baby. He showed up at the hospital yelling at me for naming him Milton, which is my grandfather's name. He's like, that's an old man's name. And he was just fussing at me in the hospital. And I'm like, I just had a baby,
Right.
So we saw this sporadically after that. When the kids got about 3 or 4, he said, I want my family back. And I thought, yeah, that's not going to work. However, let's work out a co-parenting situation, because you're not taking care of your kids. You don't see them. They don't even know you. And he said he started to make rules from my house. He was like, well, you can't be dating. Nobody's calling this house. But I'm like, okay, see, this ain't going to work out there. Because I'm offering you co-parentship. Nothing. This wife is gone. You will never. And I said, if you ever try to put your hands on me again, it's a different lady now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you made it out.
Oh, I did. But he walked away. He didn't want the co-parentship. So the whole life, I think he's seen his kids. They lived in the same city 3 times in their entire life. And I thought, wow, that's just, most men are excited to have boys. I have 3 sons.
Wow.
And they're the most amazing little people. Well, they're not little no more, but the most amazing people I know. And I see now, back then I thought it was a punishment that I had to raise them alone. But now I feel like it was a true blessing, because I was able to raise them how I wanted to raise them, which was in the fear of God. They were raised on the front pew. My baby is now a pastor. My middle one is a minister of music wherever he goes. And my oldest is in the Navy.
Okay.
So it's like, it takes certain things to happen for us to be able to look back and say, okay, God, I see you. I see how you worked that out for me.
Exactly. For you. He was working it out for you all the time. All things work together for the good of those that love God.
Yes. Speaking of love and kids and you are a mother and a grandmother. Tell me about that life.
Well, I'm so glad that everybody's grown as far as those kids.
I know that's right.
Let's say that. I am glad that they are grown. I've got a daughter and I've got 2 sons, and 3 little grandpeople. My oldest granddaughter is 13, and I have a grandson. So I'm excited about that, and just working out. Again, all relationships take some investment.
Absolutely.
And so I'm at the point now where when they get a little older, this world impresses certain things on them that cause them to sometimes question how they were raised. Like we gave them too much church kind of deal, or you give, all this kind of stuff. And so, we're processing, and I have grown, like I said, I've got grown kids. And so we're processing now. We're in the stage where we're processing, and I'm hoping to be a coach to them, more of a coach in this season than a mom.
I think
Mom always, but less mothering and more coaching.
Okay. And then, so are you that grandma? Is it the grandkids are with you all the time, or are you like, look, I love to see y'all when I see you?
Unfortunately, I'm not that grandma. I'm let's schedule play dates grandma.
Oh, I feel you on that. I feel you.
Yes.
I'm actually the opposite. You know,
Yes, so my mom was very much the kind of person, and she was quite influential in my life, but she was the kind of person that she wasn't going to watch them for you to go have any kind of fun. She would watch them when it was necessary or when you were going to work. So she would schedule her play dates, and I find myself being the same way. I would like to schedule a play date. One granddaughter lives with me, though, and that's a blessing. The oldest one, she lives with me.
My grandma and grandpa was very influential in my life. And I believe for years that I was really theirs. Not really. So it became, because after a while I did address them as Papa and Mama, you know, because that's what they were to me. I was I was their shadow. That's just, I didn't want to go no, and it wasn't that they were doing anything. We could sit in the house. I wouldn't even care. I just want to be with them. And then it's crazy because I find myself doing the same. Now, unfortunately, my grands are not here anymore. I moved to Houston because my baby son was here. Let me change that. I moved to Houston because my granddaughter was here. But then he had my second granddaughter and decided to move back to California after I got it. So I had to process that between being very mad at him and loving him, because I love him.
Right.
You know, he said he could do better. So I'm born and raised, and he's born and raised in California. And he had moved out to Houston for a while, and I was in Louisiana at the time, but I would drive every Thursday night. I'm on the road to Houston because I'm coming to see my grandbaby. But it was taxing after a while.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but I remember I remember driving. I don't know if it was a windstorm or what was going on. So I have a Chevy Trax, which is looks like a go-kart or something. But when I tell you that wind was moving me from side to side on this freeway on the way to Houston, and it started to rain. I couldn't see. And I'm like, nope, I'm getting my granddaughter. I'm getting my granddaughter. And I'm like, I thought about it later on. I'm like, that wasn't smart. You know, and she wouldn't have known whether you showed up or not anyway. She's
Exactly.
You know, but I meant I was on my way.
Wow. Okay.
But I got here, and I would usually, because every weekend I have to reacclimate myself to her, because it's all like she'll forget. So I come in and I sit on the ground. She looks, she keeps looking. Then finally, a few seconds, she realizes, oh, it's me. And then, so I did move here. After my job laid me off in Shreveport, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just move down there with them. In between all that, though, I ended up meeting somebody, dating them, and marrying them.
Awesome. Won't he do it?
Just like that. We met.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it, though?
I'm
telling you that the God we serve, he knows our every need, and he will do it. He will do it.
You know what else I like about God? And I guess I can appreciate now is that he did hear me. Even though this prayer was 20-something years ago, even the prayers that I forgot that I prayed, the prayers that I had given up on, he answers.
Yes, he does. He really does.
He didn't forget.
He never does. He never does.
But I thought he did. I know we're supposed to have this great faith, and I get it. But I honestly thought, thought he forgot about me.
And you said that's what you love about God, and I would go ahead and say that's really what my whole entire life is built on. It's the faithfulness of God. And when people has asked me about the book and what is the book about, and I just have to tell them it's the faithfulness of God, because God loves us so much that he is involved in the minute things in our lives, like a dream that you might have had 20 years ago, that he's faithful to deliver. And I watch and I see, and I don't know, I believe he does it for everybody, but I think I'm paying very close attention. So I'm keeping track of all the good things he does for me.
Wow.
Besides, movement and air and breath and life and,
Right.
food on the plate and roof over my head. Besides all of those things, it's just when I ask him for something, I know that I'm going to get that thing if that thing is according to his will. And if it's not according to his will, he will show up and deliver what he thinks I ought to have.
Wow.
And that being said, that keeps me rock steady.
Have you always known that? Or is that after conquering and seeing and knowing?
Well, no, I have not always known that, but I can trace it back where when I started seeing his hand moving in my life. And this last 6 years that I've been battling, I call it divorce, disease, and other destiny crashers. So having gone through all those things, it was even more apparent. Those are the things that causes a lot of people to lose faith. But I think those are the things that strengthened my faith, because I could see his hand at work, even in devastation. And like we talked about, after 30 years of marriage, just not to have a husband no more. That's kind of devastating. And all the time while I was traveling and figuring that out, that period after that he was so present and he was so tangible, which is what caused me to write the book.
Wow. And let's talk about the book. We've talked about mostly everything. So your book, how long has it been since you've written it?
Actually, this book was released in August.
Ooh, it's new.
It's new.
Nice. So
Nice.
we got Fix Your Posture,
And
Adjust Your Crown. Please
Yes,
explain.
ma'am.
Please explain.
So this book was birthed out of the period of time when I was separated from my husband before I was divorced. And again, we had an entire life together. So we were in ministry. We raised 3 children. If you would have thought, and a lot of people say Michelle and Barack. Okay, so we were that couple. We were that power couple. We did business. We were that couple. And so the separation was, like I said, traumatic. And I found myself spiraling downwards. I say it's like sitting in a chair and having it kicked from underneath you and you're free falling backwards. And so it's hard to know when you're going to land and when it's going to end. But I remember that the sorrow would come like waves. And so I would just desperately be seeking God, like, okay, what's next? What should I do? These financings are out of control. My emotions are out of control. People and things I thought I could trust, I obviously cannot. And so I was desperately seeking him.
Okay.
And I found that he would show up in dreams and visions. He would show up in all kinds of ways. But one night I had a dream, or one early morning, because it was waking up in that waking up season, that I had a vision of, and I talk about it in the book. It's named The Vision, where God showed me this scene where this person was crawling on all fours from behind what seems like a throne. She was crawling towards a being that was sitting on the throne, and the person that was sitting on the throne, I'm assuming, based on my feeling, that it was God, or that it was a king. And so the person was crawling, they got to the side, and it looked as though there was some sort of debate or conversation going on between the two. The woman was begging and pleading for something. I did not hear what she said, but I heard what he said to her. And he said to her, he said, uh, royalty do not beg and they don't ponder. And I was just like, okay. He said, fix your posture and adjust your crown. And in that season, I remember, because my husband and I used to do ministry together, and we did a lot of marriage ministry. We were called to go, we'd travel together to go minister at retreats and such. And so I was asking in my spirit, I was asking God, like, what do I do now? How can I do marriage ministry and not be married after 30 years? Right. And so the theme, or the feeling, the impression that was left on me from what I saw was that once a child of God, once an heir through the throne, which we are, okay, we who are believers, we're joint heirs with Christ. Once an heir, always an heir. There's no way not to be. So, and he's saying, as an heir to the throne, if your father's a king, why are you on all fours in dirty, tattered clothes? Rise up, fix your posture, straighten yourself up, and adjust your crown. And so that told me everything I needed to walk in confidence, live out who you are. You belong to me. You're a daughter of a king. So act like that, present like that, live like that. The royalty is still yours. The wealth that comes with being a part of, a part of a kingdom is yours. And so live like it is. And so from that day forward, I've had it in my heart about the book, and people would about the vision. And many people have said to me, well, you should write a book. You should write a book. I was not in a place to write the book, but I've gone through some inner healing, some forgiveness. And I'm at the place now where I'm sure about who I am. And I'm sure that he is my father, because he has shown up for me in numerous ways. Wow. And because he has, it has compelled me to write the story and share it with other women. So if they had that sense of confidence, if they had that self of well-being, and I say confidence, but it's really Godfidence, because the confidence is not in me or my ability or how I look or my education. It has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with him and who he is and who he's made me. And because of that, I can walk in that confidence, right? And if I could get my sisters to square their shoulders, in Jamaica, we have a little saying. We say, put your hand on your hip. They say, put your hand on your kimbo, like stand, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. come correct then. Get your stance on. Exactly.
I like it.
No matter what's going on in your life, remember who you are.
Right.
You're not alone.
Do you, I guess it just happened in August. So are you open to maybe doing a class or things like that you can help other women and other ladies? Because like I said, I used to do a singles community for the longest. And I struggled with, should I still do the singles community now that I'm married? But I said yes, because I've been single longer than I have been married. And I understand that process. And I still have a heart for the single ladies, because it's a lot of years where that's all we pray about. Get married. We want to get a husband. And everybody that walks through the church doors, is he my husband? Oh, he's everybody that opened the door for us at the store. Oh, he might be my husband. Everybody we see, just, is that him? And it can drive you kind of crazy, because somebody can open a door for you and you've automatically done married him in your head. He only opened the door.
Oh my goodness.
Spend so much time on that versus spending the time on us.
Right. Exactly.
I used to say, if he walked up to you right now and said, let's get married today, are you prepared?
Are you ready?
Right. The first thing you're going to say is, I need to lose weight to look good in my dress. I need to get my money straight so I can do this. Why don't you just do all that now while you're waiting? Because
exactly.
Know what? The new movie comes out. I don't know what it's going to be like, but Ruth and Boaz.
I
Comes
can't
out
wait.
on Netflix today.
You know what? That is so funny that you're saying that, because I was going to share with you the question you were asking me about still ministering on marriage, even though I'm not married now. And I was going to tell you that what God has shown me, that in this season, I'm a Naomi to many Ruths.
Yes.
I am Naomi to many Ruths. So
Yes.
when it comes to talking about marriage, I can speak from Naomi's perspective, right? I've been married, right? I've been married, and now I have the opportunity, after having been married for 30 years and keeping that together for 30 years, I can tell you my experiences, and I can tell you some things that will help you and some things for you to avoid. I am Naomi. I can help a young woman, right, who is seeking to know herself and how to position herself. I am her. I am Naomi. And I am willing, and that is actually my nonprofit. My nonprofit is it's the Naomi Ruth Coalition.
That's where I was getting ready to go.
That is my nonprofit.
And is that why? That is exactly
why. That I was an educator before I was an assistant principal, and so I have many students who call me mama. I have been a pastor before, and so I've got many parishioners who say mama. They say either Lady V, they say mama, or of course, little sis or big sis. And so that being said, I thank God, because I think God has shown me a perspective on how to see certain things, have a fresh perspective, a godly perspective, as opposed to a worldly perspective, that I feel can help many women. And so again, remember, I told you, I love to be in the company of women, not always to give advice, but many times to listen to their story, because somebody else is going to need that later on in my life. Somebody else is going to come along that I need to feed, right? So I'm getting fed from all my sisters. I've got a huge sister circle, and I draw from them, so I'm able to help others. So that is really my focus. The book is just telling the story and really sharing in that way. But my whole perspective is to be Naomi, so I can help others and to help others see that they are also Naomi, because there are few Naomis, but many Ruths.
Right. I like the idea of you being able to know both sides, because right now you can speak to so many women, both married and single.
Exactly.
Regardless of age. You can give them advice, you can give them hope, you can give them encouragement. And I think that's, first of all, it's what we need at the cafe anyway. That is what Sisters Cafe is all about. But with the book, to me, what I'm hearing is inspiration.
Yes.
The fact that the vision that you had is what many of us are doing without knowing, which is crawling around, taking scraps, not looking, not acting, not living our best life.
Come on.
We're allowing things to disrupt our peace.
Exactly.
Living dysfunctional lives, with all these things that we're doing that are not coincided with being daughters of the King.
Come on.
And
if we understood that, if we just really took that in and really made that a tangible thing for us, and we understood that we're not commoners, we are not peasants. I am the daughter of a king, and as such, I'm entitled to a certain. First of all, you need to approach me a certain way, right? I need to be treated a certain way, but on the flip side of that, I need to enter a certain way.
Yes,
and I need to exude and let my upbringing and my inheritance and my what is unique to me, that has been instilled in me, having been in the King's house, having reaped the benefit, right, of a father who has instilled in me these values and these characteristics. When I enter a room, you need to know that I am.
You need to know.
You need to understand that
I
when
love
I enter, that okay, this one, and I'm not talking about what people just say bougie. I'm not just saying that. I'm saying there ought to be an air. There ought to be a confidence. There ought to be a knowing and an understanding that that the atmosphere shifts when you enter.
Wow. So I do a conference. Well, my former pastor hosts a conference every year that I coordinate every year in Louisiana. And it is the Daughters of Zelophehad conference. I didn't know anything about the Daughters of Zelophehad until I started going to the church. So when finally I asked her about it, she said, go look it up. And I began to read in Numbers 27 about, Zelophehad, who had 5 daughters. He died, and they weren't going to give the daughters.
And they couldn't inherit anything.
Because we were property then, that women couldn't do nothing. But they decided to go get their stuff. So it's like, it's called the Pursue Your Dreams Conference. But this year, I just did it. I just came from there Sunday. This year, the theme was airship. And that's what that puts me in mind of. But I'm sure you do know, but so many of us live beneath because we haven't figured out our self-worth yet.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that happen in our lives that we internalized.
Yes.
And a lot of us didn't grow up in beautiful neighborhoods or people saying, you can do it. A lot of people didn't. And then let's go a little further in our young lives where you have somebody like me, where my husband's idea of love was hitting on me, or this person I was with said, this is about me. When I left my husband, he told me, wasn't nobody gonna want me with 3 children. Nobody.
Oh, wow.
And that was a lie. But I didn't know it. I took it. And I held that. And I remember I used to walk with my head down with my kids because I'm like, I'm not even going to look and see. I'm not, nobody's going to look at me. I walked around shamed, because I was shamed because I messed up what I thought I was trying to do, which was keep my kid's father. Then, yes, I am now a 21-year-old with 3 boys.
Wow.
And I'm like, all the dreams that I had for myself of becoming an attorney and gone. So I thought.
It's so funny that you say that because I know that our circumstances and things that has happened to us diminishes us in such a way that we no longer feel worthy. And I come across a lot of that in my sister circle. I see it a lot. It's one of the things that I talk about in the book, that all of this triumph is coming from tragedy. It's coming from trauma. And so I was raised, my mom was 17 when I was born and my dad was 29 and married. So let's try to ponder on that. And I was raised by my grandparents, and my mom didn't raise me. And so again, just a lot of trauma, but I think to protect myself, I kind of stood afar off and built my own world around myself. And in my world, I was queen. I was her. She was me. So that being said, part of my squared shoulder was really in the lack of knowledge. I just kind of assumed, almost like took on my own identity, like I made myself into. But then God confirmed for me, and he is still confirming on a daily, like, this is who you are. I'm not different from you, sis. You and I are the same. We're crafted the same way. We came here the same way, through trauma, bad situations, and overcoming. But God is in you and he created you. He is in me and he created me. And so what I'm doing now is just representing my Father. And we can all do that once we understand where we are. Like you said, get up from from all fours, straighten your posture. Straighten it, adjust it. Walk in the room like you understand who you are and adjust your crown and wear that.
Wow.
So, yeah, like you said, you really, people and things will diminish you. They will take from you, especially if they see light. If they see light and if the glory of God is shining on you, they will quickly try to get you to realign your thoughts and how you think and how you perceive things.
And that's
but
the
I thank God for
the
sister circles like this one and others that is able to edify and build up, just kind of point us back. Like, no, that's not who we are. This is who we are.
Right. I love it. I love it. I love that you decided to get up. I love not
Praise
that you just decided to get up, because not only did you just get up and adjust your crown and fix your posture, now you're helping us do the same thing. And that's amazing in itself. So I wrote the best version of me. Same concept.
Okay. Awesome.
I decided I'm not just going to lay here in this pity party. Let me go pull up my sisters and let them know they can be their best selves, regardless of what happened. And it was big for me because I was more, until Sisters Cafe came into fruition, I was more of the silent. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to keep it to myself. But I didn't know it was eating me alive.
Right.
The way I wouldn't cry. I would cry in the corner, cry in the car, cry in the shower. I wouldn't express myself. I wouldn't stand up for myself. Nothing.
Wow.
I allowed people to just walk over me. And I did until I don't know if it was the book or because I was 40, but either way, something changed in me.
Praise God. Praise God.
So then I decided, how many other women are suffering in silence?
Exactly.
Let me create a space, not only for them to learn from, but that I can be their voice until they get their own.
Exactly.
So that's what I became, the voice.
Wonderful.
For other women, because I'm not scared. I'm not. I've held so much in, and that goes for anybody. That's my mom, that's my kids, that's my whoever. I have a voice, and I am a daughter of the kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't
radiant
know that.
and radiant you are.
You know what? I'm gonna have to say that's that husband.
Praise God. I'm trying to tell you.
No,
I'm trying to tell you.
We just September. Oh, this is still September. This month is our second anniversary. So when I tell you, you talked about the things that God answers that we might have prayed about 20 years or so. We went to Italy for our anniversary, ministry and anniversary, but we spent more time for the anniversary. But we got on a boat and we were going to go around the coast to see, a few different cities, get off, walk around. And got on the boat, and I was taking pictures of everything. And I looked at the rear of the boat, and it was bananas, because here I am pulling away from the Amalfi Coast, which is something I wrote down and took a picture.
We're going to talk about that. You and I got to talk about that.
And I said, God, you did it. I forgot I even asked. The picture that I wrote, that I have in my request, is what I'm looking at as I turned around. I'm here.
Isn't he amazing?
I'm standing here, and I would have never guessed, but I just had to thank him for remembering me. And it just was like, he's that God. He is that God, because had he gave it to me years ago, I wouldn't appreciate it. Had he gave me this man years ago, I wouldn't have taken care of him. I wouldn't appreciate. I wouldn't even married him. Let's be honest. I would not have married this man had you caught me several years ago, because I hadn't got rid of my list yet. Even though I hear, I wanted this, it had to be this way, and that's the way I wanted it. But years and years of being single, learning what I need, learning who I am, learning what I like. Then I began to like myself. like, I was at the point when I met him, I wasn't going to get married again.
Right.
I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm about to do Sisters Cafe 100%. I'm going to travel around the world doing ministry, and I'm going to be the best grandma I can be in the whole wide world. And that was my goal.
Yes,
And
but
then
God had a different
showed
plan.
up. He did. I am
Thank you,
doing
Lord.
ministry 100% as I prayed
Thank
for when my children were little. I get to go
Mhm.
places. I was in Italy singing, worshiping, and praising God with different nationalities.
Wow.
I mean, that blew my mind right there. We're doing
Wow.
it. This is what God is. I get to share Jesus with other people.
Come on.
I'm excited. I'm excited about everything. You got a story about the Amalfi Coast?
Definitely. So going to Italy has been a dream for a long, long time. But I'd have to back up a minute to say this. When I was diagnosed with cancer, my husband at the time announced that he was leaving again. He was done again in September. But in January, I was formally diagnosed with breast cancer. So that was maybe 4 months later. And I'd met someone. So my husband announced divorce December 16th. I met this person in one of the places that we're going to next year is the Amalfi Coast, because I said I wanted to go to Italy, and that's already scheduled and ready to go. But let's just talk about the faithfulness of God. So basically, I say in my mind, while one person was taking me out and putting me on the curb, as though I was garbage,
Right.
putting me on the curb, another person God sent to reclaim as a treasure. And so it goes back to my saying, he hears and he knows, and he's intricately involved. And the way everything happened, and it's in the book, but the way everything happened, you can see the hand of God moving, literally moving, unveiling, revealing, implementing, replenishing, restoring. He was doing all of that in the background. And so I have to take it to the forefront and just give him praise and thanks for all that he has done, and encourage my sisters and say, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, whatever your desires are, whatever dreams he has given you, he will make good on it.
Yes, he will.
He will make good on it. I'm a testament to the goodness of God.
The goodness of God. Speaking of goodness of God, what was that day like, your diagnosis?
Traumatic, but I tell you again about God and about how he built me. Mm-hmm. I'm so, the traumas that I've suffered kind of made me fortified.
Okay.
For that particular situation. So I was experiencing, my husband leaving after 30 years, and then I married him again, and then he announced divorce again. And so all of those situations and just all the other things that I've walked through life people say it gave you a tougher skin, but I say it fortified me. It fortified me. So when I heard cancer, the funny thing is, the thought that went through my mind is, I'd lived 60 years with no illness, no medication, absolutely the picture of health. And so after 60 years, now I'm hearing I have this dreaded disease. And so in that moment, though, I said to myself, well, you gave me 60 good years.
I love it.
So if I have to go through this at this point, I know I have you to go through it with. So I'm okay.
Exactly. So tell us, because first of all, I got to get one, but please let us know where we can order the book.
Okay. We can definitely order the book from Amazon, or we can go to virginiawebster.com to get the book. Virginia Webster on my website, you can get the book.
I love it.
So there's lots of things that I do. So yes, I do accept bookings. And again, they can find me virginiawebster.com or at Virginia Webster, or at Fix Your Posture and Adjust Your Crown on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. So let me see. Remember, your posture matters. and your crown is waiting. Be sure to stay connected to us at www.sisterscafe.com. Make sure you go download that Roku channel for Daily Faith Network. I am live every Friday at 9 p.m. Follow me on all social media platforms. Don't forget to go subscribe to that YouTube channel. And you can meet me here every Wednesday for Woman Crush Wednesday here on Power Influence Radio. Have a nice day. We'll see you for the next segment of
My
Sisters
sister
Cafe.
wins, I win at the Sisters Cafe.